Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Money Talks, an exclusive conversation with some of the most brilliant minds in business, entrepreneurship, and finance. As you guys know, I've always had physical businesses, and I've spent most of my time on land. Now you're saying, Luke, why are you mentioning spending most of your time on land? Because today we have a peculiar business and a peculiar business owner, a business that may not seem lucrative, but when you pull back the curtain, it's quite lucrative and it has massive scale. Today, I am with the founder and CEO of Happy Fish Swim School, an 8-figure-a-year swimming lesson business that is incorporated in Singapore and in Malaysia with over 6,000 students year-round. Jian Tan, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too.
This man said good to see you. The reason he said good to see you is because I was like, you need to take off your glasses because you look a lot better without the glasses. So it's a little pun because he actually can't see me, but we're going to have a good session, brother. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, here's the thing. I'm super curious about your business, hence why I wanted you to come on Money Talks, because when people think business, they think money, they think scale. They're only thinking digital.
Yeah.
As you were talking to me about your plans with the swim school and how you plan to get it to 50 million, you're already doing 10 million a year. I want to really talk about what that process looks like. I want to talk about customer loyalty, customer retention. I want to talk about trust because you're dealing with the children, right, of ultra successful people. You're dealing with children of people that have power. You're dealing with children and you have these protective mamas, right, 24/7 that are, hey, this dude's tossing my kids into a pool. Not that alone, but you also have 300 staff members, which means your business operation is quite large. You're not out here, renting out the YMCA's pool and throwing kids in there. You're building your own facilities.
Yes.
So you have infrastructure attached to that as well. So I really want to dive into this business, which I think is absolutely phenomenal because we have audience members, people inside Capital Club that have physical businesses. They have businesses that are brick and mortar. And the scale, of course, is slower, but there is longevity in sustainability in that process. But before we get into how you went into business, I want to take a little bit back. I want to take it back to the epiphany moment. When is it that you said, hey, I'm going to be a business owner and this is the business model that I'm going to be approaching?
Okay. I started my journey when I was 17 years old. When I first came to Singapore, I'm Malaysian. I was a lifeguard, earning $7 an hour. I think that's the best job because I can look at the bikini girls and getting paid for it. And I think that's the best job. But I wasn't satisfied because someone in the water was earning $50 an hour, and that's the swimming instructor. And so I went on. It took me about 1.5 years to get the license to teach. But once I start teaching back then, I fell in love, with the sense of satisfaction. So, it triggers me to want to do more. So I realized that there were a lot of swimming instructors who couldn't find any students. And on the other hand, we have students who can't find coaches at all. So I built a website in 2007. I built a website and basically we don't have much competition. So I rank very well on search engine. And so I have students coming to me. I have coaches coming to me. I link them up. I get commissions. I get paid for doing so. That's how I started the swim school, Yeah, but once I got into that, I just feel like, no, I want to do better. The more people that I serve, the better. Because I believe in building values instead of changing my time with money, like what I had in my mind previously, $7 an hour, $50 an hour. That's not the way to go. I just want it to be how many people I serve and how much value can I bring to these people. And that's how I wish I can create my wealth.
That's phenomenal. And you're very well on your way because of the model and the plan of scale that you were talking to me about backstage. Now, talk to me about the first pool, because one thing is connecting, being the bridge between the coach, the instructor, and the student. But here you are building facilities. Talk to me about the epiphany moment where you actually went from being digital, of being that website guy that provides a service, to actually being the infrastructure by which everything is happening, where the operation is actually taking place.
Okay. The trigger point is actually when I just having this one particular student who was so afraid to put the face into the water, to even have water on the face. So he was 7 years old. So, it triggers me to question, like, why is that so? Why I thought children are supposed to love water and, having fun with water, but why there are children who's not having fun? So it just, I traced back and I just realized that that's how we were brought up since young. When we go near to the water, the parents will just ask us to be careful, it's dangerous, come back, And there are so many TV programs that show us how dangerous the water can be, with sharks, with all this stuff. So we grow up, some children grow up associating danger with water. So it brings me down to have lessons, not just for the kids, but for the babies. We need to start where children has first contact with water, babies, right? In order to do so, I can't use the public pools. I can't use any facilities that's available because those facilities are not catered to babies, right? Actually, I had one class with a group of babies before I decided to build an indoor pool. So I have this class, and out of 10 lessons, I have only 3 students who managed to complete the entire course. The rest of them fell sick, after 2 to 3 lessons, right? So that's not the way to go, right? The water temperature plays a part, the chlorine level plays a part, the hygiene level plays a part, the weather plays a part. So it just, I just want to have a facility where it's controlled, indoor, weatherproof. The kids can just enjoy them in the heated water. So that triggers me to build that facility.
How many facilities do you have now?
I have 15 right now.
15 pools.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. But your customers aren't the babies. Your customers aren't the kids. Your customers are the parents.
Yes.
Talk to me about how you establish the trust. And then I want to talk about what's the acquisition model for Happy Fish. Talk to me about how do you establish the trust? We'll get into the customer acquisition part, but I want to get into the part of now that the customer is acquired,
Okay.
how do you build the trust and how do you maintain the trust?
First, we have to get the parents to involve. So we are not just the only, we are teaching the parents to teach their kids, right? Instead of we, the coach, to kids directly, we do it a different way. We teach the parents, and the parents will be the teachers for their children, right? So that provides a very good trust because we are working as a team, us and the parents, right? So that's the first thing. And second, we really have to provide proven results, right? Right. So we have a very structured curriculum where we promise that, okay, by this amount of lessons, you are going to see this result. And doing so again and again. So, that's how we build trust with customer.
You talk about customer service as one of these key ingredients, good customer service. Many times you walk into a physical business and the customer service is just disgusting. It's not good. It's bad. But people don't understand that if you're building a physical business as well as a digital one, but digital is a little bit easier because people forget, you can get more customers. But in a physical business, the face-to-face interaction, the customer service is so crucial. It's so integral to the relationship with the customer because you're interacting face-to-face. You talked about customer service being one of these beacons and one of these factors that's important to you. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, we have 3 principles that guide us in customer service, right? First, the service has to be consistent, right? The coaches plays a part in this. The curriculum that we provide has to be consistent. In, out, the expectation is managed well. Number 2, we have to have some surprise factor. From time to time, when you throw out something that is out of expectation. That's where customer will feel happy about that. 3, you have to, for us, we have to make sure that our progressions of our students. Actually, I want to talk about a little bit about our company culture as well.
Please.
Right? We have a 5C culture for every new recruits. The first C is compassionate. We look for people who has compassion. We put a group of people in a room, and then when we interview, we will just casually chit-chat with each other, and we look for people who has their eyes brighten up when we switch the topic from how's your day to babies related topic. So we look for people who has their eyes brighten up when we switch the topic. Okay, so that's the first thing, compassion. Second, collaborative. So out of these people, we want to see who are the people that that values interaction with each other.
Working well together.
Right. Number 3, courageous. That is something that we will develop. We don't expect people to come in and say, yeah, I'm going to swim with the whale shark next day. No. But eventually, we are going to groom all the people to be able to do so.
It's a mindset.
Well, you can.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna start swimming with you, brother.
Yeah, yeah. And commitment, right? Commitment. We don't have to talk about that. Commitment. Lastly, we are talking about communication, right? We look for people who can communicate with each other. So this is the 5C that we are looking at when we interview people. We don't just do one-on-one interview. We like to do group interview, and we just throw questions to each other. And at the end of the day, we'll just pick whoever that we think we can work with. And voila, the customer service start with the right people. With the right people, it will be a lot easier. You have whatever principle you put in, they will deliver.
How do you manage the filtration process? And then how do you manage, once this filtration process is set in place, voila, yes, you got the people, but how do you manage that these 5 C's are actually maintained in the workplace?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. We don't hire just enough for the capacity. We hire more than what we have to. And in the process, there will be people who filter out, and we will replenish with new groups of people. But right now, at this stage, we are seeing very little outflow. So we actually hire slower as well. And this process has been slowed down a lot, but it has been ongoing. We can't expect people to stay the same commitment throughout their journey. They probably has other commitments, But the key is to hire more than what you need. You can't just expect, okay, that's my operating expenses. I'm just going to invest this amount of money. Budget a little bit higher. Have more people in your team. That's where you can buffer.
You need the room for error. You need the room for people to not make the cut.
That's correct.
Talk to me about the customer acquisition. We talked about the customer satisfaction. We talked about how customer service plays a part, the 5 C's that build this pillar, the management of these 5 filtration systems. But now talk to me a little bit about customer acquisition. You initially talked about ranking on Google. You talked about being the digital platform between the trainer and between the student. What is the customer acquisition model?
Okay, it's a very fun thing to talk about.
Tell me.
Like to talk about that, right? We spend very little on marketing, very, very little. Instead, we invest in our existing customer. Okay, that's how we grow our business. Word of mouth, that's the secret. So everyone talks about word of mouth, like how you provide good values to the customer and they're just going to refer to their friends. Yeah, true, that's the basic. But you need to give the tools to your customer to do that. So, we don't have any referral program in place, but the customer will just refer their friends over again and again. So what we did, basically 3 major things. Number 1, we make a video out of every student. Baby swimming is a big thing. So by the end of every term, we shoot short clips, maybe about 1 minute. Right? We make it fun. Just a 1 minute video of a baby swimming from here to there, and we make it for free for our customer. So once they receive it, they post it on the social media. Right? We invest in a good underwater equipment. We don't need a professional to do that. We just need a good equipment. We just shoot from point A to point B, and then we hire the editor to edit. Just a simple one. That's good enough for customer. They just want to share it, share their joy to their friends, right? So that's number one. Number two, I'm not too sure if you realize the moment that I walk in before I wear this shirt.
Yes, you had the branded shirt.
Yeah. So that t-shirts initially, the purpose of the shirt is for the baby to grip on. The parents are supposed to wear that shirt to go into the water. So the shirt that I was wearing when I came into this studio, that is actually a very good marketing tool. I didn't realize that, my idea for that shirt was for the children, the babies, to hold on to the parents so that they can learn to be independent, right? But when I was observing the whole thing, how the whole thing evolved, I just realized, holy, I have 6,000 students wearing the same shirt, walking around their premises every single week. 6,000 people, they are the walking advertisement, right? There is a purpose for that shirt, yes. And everybody has to put on that shirt, yes. So it's like a little bit forceful, but it's a requirement. So you wear that shirt, the effect is there. The more people come to us because they saw that shirt, So yeah, that's a shirt.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, fully branded.
Happy Fish.
And then you have
the Mentari. That's because this is a special one. We make it for our excursion.
For your excursions.
For the excursion to Maldives.
Most people would just be like, oh, go on Amazon, buy a shirt that is good for grip, or in fact, not even do anything, but you utilized a tool, and on top of it, you train the parents to say, this is a necessity. It's not that you just, you get to, no. Anytime the baby goes into the water, you have to wear this.
It's a necessity first.
Yes.
Then it becomes a marketing tool.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, that's number two. And it just makes sense. Right?
What's interesting, what videos have actually gone viral on TikTok? I don't know if you guys do these. It's the throwing the babies into the pool. You guys throw the babies into the pool, right?
Yeah.
I need to start seeing some of your TikToks, just like grabbing the babies, just tossing them over. Talk to me about expansion, right? How do you expand a physical business? What is the philosophy there? How do you go from 1 pool to 15, right? Because are you capped by amount of people? Are you capped by size?
Yeah.
People listening, they're sitting on one business, one physical location, 2 locations, 3 locations, but you're scaling quite fast and quite extensively, not only just in Singapore, but you are now operating in Malaysia as well, and you're building a big operation over there. What is your philosophy on scaling the business, opening up more locations?
Okay, right now we are having an issue where the supply and the demand is not matching. The demand is way higher. It's a trend right now. People want to come into us, but we have no facility for them. So we have to continue this journey of building more swimming pools. So we want to look for convenience for our people. Initially, our idea is just to build a big one, a huge one in the shopping mall where people walk past, they can see us, they can get educated of what baby swimming is all about. But right now at this stage, we just want to open up smaller branches everywhere so it's more accessible for our students. When it's convenient, they are likely to renew again and again. But if it's so inconvenient, they have to park their car, get up three levels with so many staff, that's the customer experience part. Well, also talking about customer experience part, we built the new pool slightly different, right? The new pools that we have, we call it Happy Fish Home. right? Home means it's like a home for you. We don't expect people to bring anything, just their swimwear and a change of clothes. And they just walk in. We will provide the towel, provide the toiletries, we provide everything you need. There's a lounge. You can sit back, relax, read books, whatever. You can come anytime without having any lessons, you know? The lessons will still go on once a week. So as long as you sign up at those branches, you are free to come back to use the facility, right? It gets very popular. Although we charge a little bit higher, we charge a premium for that, but it's more popular, more welcome by customer. So I think that is something that opens up my mind in terms of how people value, how people value a product.
What they actually want. You're taking all these pain points and you're satisfying them. Most facilities don't have towels.
Yeah.
Most facilities don't go the extra mile. Most facilities are dirty.
Yeah.
I'm talking not just pools, but in general, right? You go to a hotel and sometimes you're left wondering, and many times you're like, I could do this better. Right? So you took this entire model and you're like, I could do this better, and you did it better.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about diving deeper into this customer experience. What is the philosophy? How do you perceive what the customer needs?
All right. Let's go back to the bottom of all this, how we differentiate ourselves with our competitors, from if there is any, Well, first, the swimming pool, the water quality, that's very important. If you watch any of our video before, you realize that the kids are swimming without goggles, right? You can't see anywhere else without goggles, and they are putting on a big smile when they are swimming. So it means the lesson is very fun. Number two, it means the water is very, very clean for them to do so, right? So we invest a lot in making sure that the water is very high quality, like how fast is the turnover, what kind of machine we put in to complement the amount of chlorine, to make sure the chlorine is like the minimum. All this we have to put in place to make sure we cover the basic, which is, customers are happy with the clean water, so they don't fall sick and whatnot, So that's
the foundation.
That's the foundation. Yeah, that's the right word.
Yes.
The foundation. So when that's covered, we look into the second layer. This is what I do over the weekend. Usually, I'll just sit at one corner, pretend to read books or working on a computer. But I was observing how the customer interact with every single touch point. And I sort of like have a user journey mapping to see how they come in, just like how we do it for the website, right? I do it for the physical store. See how they come in, how they put their shoes on the rack, what do they actually need, how can we do better, right? So we keep improving the facility over the years. And when we gather enough data, the next pool that we build, we change entirely. That's how we have the second version, Happy Fish Home, right? From Happy Fish to Happy Fish Home. I don't know yet what's coming.
Happy Fish Penthouse.
Probably.
Talk to me about customer satisfaction.
Yeah.
Because we talk about satisfaction in the sense of you doing things, but it's not just a facility. You're also interacting with the most precious element of these people, which is their children. So I'm sure that there's probably some stories where like shit's just a fan or things are just not working. And simultaneously, different people have different points of value. They value different things, whether it's the safety of the children. It may be a father that brings in the child. The child may not be, protection to him may not be the most important thing. It's just like, this kid needs to learn how to swim. Or a child comes in with fear, and it's how do we get rid of the fear? Talk to me about dealing with expectation management with the customer.
Fun fact. I don't think that's a fun fact. I think most people know about that. Singapore market has higher expectation compared to my Malaysia side, So whatever we do in Singapore, if we bring it over to Malaysia, it's on the A+ level.
It's perceived as top of the line.
Top, right? So for Singapore, so I focus pretty much on Singapore. How can I satisfy the people in Singapore? I would say, this is what I observe, through observation, the peoples are on the top of their mind that we are dealing with babies. Safety should come first, right? Safety. So water is clean, that's the foundation. But what are the things that can cause issues, right? So we have actually some rules in place, right? Instead of just taking care of every aspect one by one, we try to do it as a blanket for everyone. So we have two very difficult rules to implement, but we managed to do so. Number one, we make sure all the parents wears proper swim attire, meaning they have to wear those skin tight kind of
the
swimwear.
spandex, kind of like the things that people wear under their shorts in the gym.
No shorts allowed. It's very unpopular to implement in the beginning. Why so? Because people are used to wearing shorts to go into the water. But we just realized that what happened with the shorts is not about that. It's about the underwear, right? It's about underwear. And sometimes we realize that the parents forget to remove the sanitary products and they're going into the water with that, right? So after realizing that, we ask ourselves, do we want to put our babies into the water where people have the sanitary products to go into the water? We say no. So we make a decision. Everybody wears a tight swimwear. So then you will remember that you have to remove whatever sanitary products, right? So that's one. Two, the swim diaper. I have to make a video because most people are just thinking we just get a basic swim diaper. Maybe it costs about $5, but the swim diaper I ask them to ask my customers to get is about $30. So it's like a huge difference. People don't understand why is that so. So I make a video during COVID time. I have nothing to do at home. I dip my babies into the fish tank and I had her wearing 20 different diapers. And I put some oatmeal into the diaper and I see how long does it last before the oats starts to leak or seep out from the diaper. So I make that video. It took me about 1 week to make that video over and over again. Poor thing, right? But that video works. Everyone understands why is it important to do so, right?
You're training the customer to operate under certain rules, and now you have a readjustment of behavior.
Yes.
You have satisfaction of customer experience. You have an environment that feels like home. You're basically creating a cult.
And the trust.
Yes.
Because they knows that you are doing the right thing eventually, right? It may not be popular at first. People will question, why is that so? Why is that so? We have the posters everywhere, to educate people. The moments you walk in, why do we wear proper swim attire? Or why can we open our eyes in the water? Why do we need to wear this swim diaper? Something like that. It's everywhere. The moment you walk in, you start to be educated by this culture. And, that's how people trust us because they will know that we are doing the right thing. Yep.
And culture is such a big play when you have, in your case, you may or may not have competitors, but in a brick and mortar business, you do have competitors.
Yeah.
And culture is what dictates whether somebody comes back to you or whether they just hop around from place to place.
Yeah.
Talk to me about transitioning from culture. You say culture with the customers. Talk to me about the culture inside the company. Yes, you talked about the 5 C's, but how do you manage 300 staff? As a CEO, as an owner, what is your day-to-day?
I'm working like a tour guide right now at this point in time. First, you have to empower your people, right? I empower them a lot. As in, we have company policy in place, we have SOP in place, and we empower them to make decisions even to the point that they can give up free swimming lessons to people, You know?
Really?
Yeah, we just trust their judgment. And I don't think it can go anywhere too wrong, right? You know, how many free swimming lessons can you give up, right? Anyway, the empowerment makes a lot of difference. And so right now, my day-to-day job is to think about new idea. What can we do to keep the customer happy, right? So for the excursion is one thing. We don't just teach children to swim. We teach children to be brave. We want them to experience swimming with giant sea creatures. And why is that so? Because there was a time where I brought my daughter to swim with the humpback whales in Tonga, right? And there was a moment, my daughter, 4 years old back then, she just pushed off from my back and swam towards the giant sea creatures. And I was just right at the back with my camera. I was following her. She was just swimming towards the whale and never turned back, just focused, so laser focused, doing her own stuff. And I captured that moment and I cried. You know, that is so precious. I didn't know a child can be so brave. All that investment that we put in within that 4 years has turned into something, and it's incredible. We want to bring that experience to my customer. That's why I come out with this excursion. So that's my day-to-day job. I was always on a mode where I'm observing, researching, try to come up with new products that is still related to what we are doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
People oftentimes work in their business, but at some point you have to work on your business. And that means that you have to sit back and observe. Jeff Bezos famously said in an interview, he said, the job of the CEO is not to be working on the tasks of today or tomorrow, but to be working on the tasks of next quarter and next year. How important is it to create an ecosystem inside your company where, yes, you can go and observe, yes, you can go and spend time planning and thinking and being creative and in making sure that the business doesn't implode? Because some people listening would be like, all right, I'm the CEO. All right, perfect. You guys go do all this shit. You do this. I'm going to go sit in this chair, be creative. Then they come back and the business is imploded.
Yes.
How do you set the right systems?
Well, it took us many years to have that foundation in place, you know. I started the business in 2007 and we start building the pool at about 2013. So it took us like the first 5 years to understand how to run a business, the next 5 years to understand how to structure a curriculum and how to have a team, and the next 2 to 3 years to build a team and so on. So before we even come to this point, the foundation has been laid out. It took many years to build that before I can proudly say that I empower my staff to make a decisions on my behalf.
So when people are listening, they can't take this assumption of, okay, today, just because Gian is out here doing it, that I can do it myself. You need to lay the foundation. You need to empower your team. You need to position yourself correctly so that then when you unplug, things continue to run.
That's correct.
Talk to me a little bit about your philosophy in business, your personal philosophy. I want to talk about, we talked about business philosophy, but what are some non-negotiable principles to you when it comes to business?
I'm a yes man. I say yes to a lot of things because I have no vision of what's going to happen. Nobody has it. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. But the moment if I say yes to something, the outcome can be only that there's only two outcomes. Either you gain something or you learn something. So I've been doing that since I was very young in the beginning. I always say yes to every invitation, every request, every opportunity, you know. So I have a lot of failure, you know, in life and also in business. I lost about a few $1 million in my entrepreneur journey as well. You know, there's ups and downs. because of saying yes. But I would say that all this has turned into a lesson that's so valuable. I think it worth more than those money that can, just worth so much more, that grooms me to who I am today and how I grow this business.
It's what they often say. The only ones that fall are the ones that are moving forward. So if you want to move forward, you have to fall. It's part of the process. It's inevitable. You like that quote, huh?
Yeah,
It's good.
I like.
Don't steal it. Wrapping up, I kind of want to talk a little bit about your operating system.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how you set up systems, because you talk about, it took us 5 years to set up systems. How do you set up systems?
It's very hard to just mention in using words, right? What I did was I have to, besides just observing, I can't do it. I'm not I'm not an operationally trained guy. So hire the right people. That's first. Have a open mind to accept criticism from other people, and learning from all the failing moments that your customers feedback. Particularly, there are one incident that shapes our SOP is that during the COVID period, where we transit from using external pool maintenance guy to our internal guy. So the external guy was using a lot of chlorine drum, and they are dosing chlorine manually where we don't like it. So we transit to our internal guy to do it. So there were a lot of chlorine drums available, waiting to be disposed. So we didn't take actions fast enough. Our cleaner took it faster than us, took the chlorine drum, and he disposed into the sewage. And it's illegal. We did that. He did that, and it caused some gas to came up from the sewage. And somebody called the police. The police came, the ambulance came, the fire brigade came, everybody, there was in a chaotic moment. And during that period, we got fined about 6,500 at the end. But that shapes me into thinking that it's my fault. It's my fault that I didn't have things laid out properly, right? And I can't do it myself anymore. I've been thinking that I know the best. I know this business the best than anyone else. But I stopped thinking about that. When that incident happened, I decided to hire somebody with ISO knowledge, with a proper, this guy came from a big company. Maybe I can mention the biggest bus company in Singapore. He's the operation manager there. I hired this guy, pay him well, and he lay out the foundation, how to check and balance every different parts of the moving parts of the system, and it pays very well.
Yes.
It pays off very well.
There's people listening that run brick and mortar businesses. What is your number one piece of advice to scale and to grow a brick and mortar business from 7 figures to 8 figures?
Okay. No, don't try to go fast. Never try to scale a business before you are very sure that your business, your formula is correct. Initially, the first branch that we had about 600 students rushing into a very small place. The experience wasn't good. We make a lot of money. We thought this could be the way to go. We can build a lot more of such swimming pool. It was a small one. The maximum capacity is only 300, but we somehow managed to squeeze in 600 students, right? We thought that was the correct way to do it, but the customer experience just went down so fast, and people start to talk about, don't go to this place, it's too squeezy, Back then, we wanted to scale it. We wanted to scale it with that just one successful branch, monetary, but not customer experience. We thought, okay, this is it. Let's do 10 more. Luckily, we didn't do it, or else we were going to have 10 times the problem,
Yeah.
right? If we continue this kind of setups. So we take a step back and figure out, took us 8 years to finally decided, this is the right formula and we are ready to scale. So don't rush into that, because once you are in a scaling mode, it actually grows very, very fast. It can get out of hand if you are not prepared, right? A brick and mortar business. So that's my advice to people who want to scale a brick and mortar business. There are a lot of ways to do it. You can do it like a franchise model. You can do it with external funding. There are so many ways to do it. Don't rush into that. The resources are
Limitless.
everywhere, right? There's no need to worry about your competitions grow faster than you and they have a bigger market share. That's the least things to worry about. When you are doing the right thing, the market is always there for you, right?
Yes.
And you don't really have to worry about somebody who goes faster than you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now that is for brick and mortar. But in general, last question, what is the number one lesson as an entrepreneur, almost 20 years in the game? What is the number one lesson that you've learned as an entrepreneur?
I think the biggest lessons learned was during COVID. We had 15 days of run rate. What happened was we are the second worst hit business in the whole business scene in Singapore and Malaysia. Why? We have children. They can't be vaccinated. They can't wear a mask to swim. And we are in an indoor environment. So
you got the worst of the worst of the worst.
The worst is the KTV. We are the second worst hit. So what happened? We were locked down for 10 months, where other people just 4 months. We were locked down for 10 months, maybe more.
Crazy.
Yeah. So every month we are bleeding 300,000 back then, right? 300,000 month after month after month. We thought it's just going to be 4 months and we can, go back to business, but it wasn't the case. So it's a very difficult decisions to make at some point when we realized that, we only left with this amount of money and we have borrowed so much from the bank and we still owe this amount of money. It's a stressful moment for an entrepreneur to make a decision. Yeah. Well, we have two choices, right? It's either we continue to run the business or we shut down, right? We are almost at the point that we have to shut down. But, as an entrepreneur, we are here to solve problems.
Yes.
Yeah, we are not here to just make money, right? If my focus was making money, it will be a lot easier. I could just shut down, do other stuff, and it's a lot easier. But I have decided that's not the way to go. I think swimming is a thing that I hope one day everybody knows how to swim. That's always be on top of my mind. So we start with the babies. One day they can, the future generation will have the culture of sending babies to swim and so on, right? So I have been, that has been in my mind, even though I'm facing such difficult moment. I decided to move on. And with the amount of money left, most people will probably just use it to cover, to pay whoever that needs to be paid. But for me, I make a very different decisions that is so unpopular. None of my staff agrees for me to do it. None of my shareholders agrees for me to do it. I bought a yacht. I bought a yacht with that amount of money. Yeah, it's exactly 280,000, and it was so unpopular. But I know what I'm doing. A lot of questions has been throwing to me, but I know what I'm doing. So in the end, I bought a yacht. Within the next 6 months, the business boomed. I bought a yacht with the rental business, right? So I knew it. When you can't travel overseas, you have to find something to do. And going out at sea is the next best thing you can do. So I bought the yacht, invest in that. Within 6 months, we recover fully. And that yacht has become a part of my company, Happy Fish. We brought students out to swim in the sea at Lazarus Island on a regular basis. And we also rent out the yacht to people. And it covers back then about 30 to 40% of operating costs to our business.
Wow.
Well, since then, I gained a lot of trust from my people, right, about making decisions, all these kind of hard decisions, right? Somebody has to make it.
Yes.
And as an entrepreneur, you have to do it. You have to know what you are doing and not go according to the flow, right? Most people will just follow according to the flow. Okay, this is direction. Let's move according to this direction.
You have to swim upstream.
That's it. Swim upstream.
Brother Jan, thank you so much for the lessons. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been phenomenal having you. And once you scale from 15 to 50 pools, or even 100, from 10 million to 50 million, I look forward to a part 2 on how to scale operations multinationally.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of Money Talks, an exclusive conversation with some of the most brilliant minds in business, entrepreneurship, and finance. Hopefully you guys gain some data sets, understanding how to swim upstream, how to be patient when times are tumultuous and difficult. And that is where you find success. It's beyond money. It's beyond achievement. It's understanding your passion, your purpose, and pursuing that wholeheartedly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next one.